Welcome.
Welcome back. Thank you for joining us once more here. Weird games, doing weird things, weird maps, weird people. Alright, it's another weird day.
It's Papa Weird.
With Papa Weird. There you go, thank you. Are you Papa Weird now? Can I be the weirdling? Going to swap?
No.
No. Alright, sure. Joy kill. Alright. So, we have a different opening. You can kind of see badly what we have here. Until I draw it all in and we're finished and we finalize this. This is what the working sheet looks for. Yeah. Needed this to put everything in relationship to each other. So it's been a little bit more building off of this design and working backwards this time rather than working from what we, what we're originally designing and just sort of making up at the time. We have a little bit more bounded area. We have to think a little bit more. Well, we now only have this much at the top to fill in here for quarters and rooms, and then we have to actually deal with the religious place, the Abbey, monastery, church,
and stuff.
Yeah. So and the different rooms that are around that, right? So this is what we started with our big mess. You can kind of see that, right? A lot of our design that we took from the web. We sort of contrasted what they'd had as a traditional design with what we wanted to put in there for Illithid rooms and stuff, right? Out of the book for their lair. So that's what we have here. And it's kind of turned out to be this large so far. And a lot of extra work from there to not just do one room, but each of these rooms
are like 3 rooms.
Well, you have this one, for example. Where are we up to here? We've shown off the glass house, right? And we'd shown off the gardens, had we not? I think so. And here were the upper guest quarters and the lower guest quarters. They're down here. You can't really see them on this screen that very much. They sit down here, but they have a bit of a garden, right? They have a bit of a garden space and a pavilion area. The lower quarters are over here. Let me see. The veggie patch and the poison patch is over in this direction. The dining hall over here, the longer building. We also then had the kitchen. So this is the thing you see here. Instead of one room, we have one building with these kitchens. And when we design it, what we have is a before and an after for a lot of these rooms. So just for myself, and also I don't know if anyone to look at it and make sense. You could play it either way. You could play the Illithid invasion, I suppose, if you wanted to.
Yeah, you could be like, you could make your character do like a level 14 one-shot where you're the Illithids.
Oh no, well maybe you could do that, or you've been called in because they're coming and you've got to stop them, and you have all these civilians to protect. So you could fill this up with civilians and church folk and have it in the previous before setting and trying to stop the Illithid invasion and rescue all the religious folk, right? So we've done it like that. You can see in the workers' quarters, for example, there's 8 long rooms is how we've drawn it up to represent a lot of the different people who'd be working there, but not necessarily high enough to get their own luxury quarter.
Yeah.
They do have enough for a bed and like a cupboard or a dresser space. Here we had the barn with the evil rat utopia. It was about a 50 foot long hole with, it was about 20 foot, 15, 20, 25 foot in places, wide gap, 50 to 60 foot deep. And that's where the rat, I don't know if anyone here, you'll go on Google's the rat utopia, watch it on YouTube, right? Have a look at the experiment. Got out of control, and here they've been feeding these things like dead people and bones and stuff to make them nice and big and strong, right?
Tasty.
And then of course what they do, they form them with their psionic powers to expand out their brains and stuff, right? To make them real big killers.
Big boy.
There's a well there.
It's supposed to be...
The well on the map, yeah, is supposed to be up in that corner there, that quadrant we haven't got to yet. One side to freedom, the other one to the brain elder. The elder brain elder. Well, what if we had an elder brain elder? Right? The eldest of all the elder brains.
Like that god.
Like a god, yeah, level 24 CR or something like that. Crazy. Let's do that later. Here we have the docs. This is the doctor's office. Staying on track here. Hope you can see that. We'll get rid of all this paperwork in a second.
Why is that tape?
Oh, because when I drew alongside of it, it actually tore because I have this other tape on the other side. Alright, so I had to sticky tape that and reinforce it. Unfortunately. But you can see you had a doctor's office before with like 3 patients' beds with a little waiting room and a private office, you know, not bad for a little clinic. Now it's got an experimental bed inside here with an experiment chair. Look at that, you can work on 2 people at the time with their scissors and knives and pokey stuff and cleavers and things for, you know,
Cleaving.
experiments done with care. You know, and over here we got test tubes and vats and stuff. Maybe where maybe they keep some tadpoles over here and try and experiment on just experiment on different ways to insert them to make stronger illithids and that, right? So a lot of that would be going on there. And this is where we're up to. So we'll clear away the map. If you'd like to hold this over here just for a second, young weirdling lad, I will pick the map up. All right. Have to do it in an order so we don't lose it. It's a bit of a mess, a bit like a jigsaw. It's not going to be our I don't think it's going to be our smallest jigsaw. I think I'm going to make a bigger one yet, but anyway, spoilers, right? So those ones sit at the top. They're the little boundaries. Okay, now you need to pull down your tray. All right, your tray is up there. Over here, pull down your tray. Right, just in case we need some rolls and such. Alright, I need to put the maps away for later. Look at that, they go in here. Okay. Alright, where are we at? Here. Put this map, can you... actually, I'll just put that behind me. Very good. So, what are we doing today? What does the book say? Infirmary and experiments. That's what's going next to the doctor's office. Okay, I have already drawn it on the larger map for scale. This is one I had to have a look at first because I had to get ahead a little bit. The room's going to look like a longer rectangle with a shorter one off one side and a bit of a square off the other side. Okay, there's not much randomization here. All right, but this was the infirmary. Okay, so it would have had essentially, you know, probably 5-6 beds down one side and, you know, several beds down the other side. We're on the right, yeah, we're on the right screen. Good stuff. All right, so yeah, we would have had like, you know, 12 beds in total in there. This one here, I think, would have had several beds or maybe some chairs. This is you just need to sit down and get some sunroom, take some Panadol and call me in the morning room, right? Maybe just have a lie down. You're not really, really sick. Maybe you shouldn't have eaten that extra...
Pheasant.
Yeah, the extra pheasant. I think that one was off, right? Everyone who ate the pheasant just needs to have a bit of a throw up
I don't think
and a lie
they
down.
cooked it properly.
Okay. This is going to be the office. This is going to be the sunroom, right? Something like that. That's what I would call it. And this is where the regular patients, so this is the actual infirmary, right? So what happens when it gets corrupted is we end up having experiments going on here instead. So what we might do is in this office have this as some sort of room for, so put a little arrow up here. The office is now like a library, right? Library with, I was thinking here is where they might actually put spell books, right? So,
ooh.
Yeah.
The wizard's gonna have some fun.
Yeah, for wizards and stuff to pick up and that. Because we haven't really introduced... very good, very good. We haven't really introduced spell books just yet as an actual reward. But if anywhere is going to be trying to gather that information, it's going to be the arcane Illithids. Most of them don't want to have anything to do with it. They'll just outright destroy it, right? Anything that's magical or spell nature or scrolls, that's not their deal, right? But the ones who are magically inclined, they eat these things up almost as much as they eat brains, right?
Yum, yum, yum.
Yum, yum, yum. So what they're going to do is we're going to have a library here. So what I was thinking is, I think on that screen, one of them, if you'd go over and like to swap over the screens, young weirdling, sir, I do believe that one there, one of those screens had attached to it. Yeah, so we can randomize what level some of these are and how many. I might have a roll on how many spell books are in this library.
Level 14 now?
Sorry?
They're level 14 now, right?
They would be. And what we might actually do is put one of those other books in there that affects one of the primary stats, the ones that is the artifact that gives you the +2 to your stat. You just have to study it for a manner of time. Let me see what those artifacts are called. I think we had one before previously somewhere in one of the... actually be in the Dungeon Master's Guide. I'm pretty sure we had it as a reward somewhere else previously. Was one of these tomes.
Like a couple of different, like, what is it, specializations? Like
well, sure. So what we'll do is there's let me see. There's six spell books in here, right? So what you do is we might write down the level of the spell book. So we can come back to this later, right? What we might try and do is write down the level of the spell book and the specialization. All right, because otherwise if we start writing down all the spells for 6 mages, we're going to be here for 2 days. Okay. I also need to find this tome first. Just a second. Q S R S T tome. Yeah, this is what they are. Yeah, tomes of clear thoughts and such. Tome of leadership. Tome of let me see. Tome of understanding. Let me see. So which one of these tomes should we give them, I think?
Let me see.
Tome of Understanding is +2 to your wisdom. Tome of Leadership and Influence is Charisma. And I think actually they would have taken this one. Tome of Clear Thought, +2 to your Intelligence. Alright, so we're going to put that in here. Tome of Clear Thought, okay, is in here in their library. Okay, and so if you want to, would you like to just have a look through some of these random things that you're clicking through here? Get a list. If you click on, I'll give you a level. Up to level 14, you reckon? Yep. So we'll roll a 10 and a 4. Okay, I'll do that very, very quickly.
What if you just get like a 2?
It can happen. Right? We have an 8 and a 2. So that's a level 10. Level 10 spellbook. From how many different schools do they have there? What's a list of schools? Sorry?
General.
No, we'll pick one of the schools. How many different types does it give you? 8? Alright, so we will get a D8 out. Okay, look at that. 4. What's the fourth one there?
Enchanter.
So what level is it then, do we say? Level 10?
Yep.
Level 10 Enchanter. Alright, okay, very good. Have a look again. What's one of the key spells on there, you reckon?
Key spells? Probably modify enemy. Memory.
Oh, modify memory. Yeah, that's pretty cool. That's actually very good. I think that's more of a roleplay spell than a...
And like Tasha's Mind Whip.
Okay. Oh, yeah, yes. Okay, so 8. We got a level 8. And what do we got? Oh, that's another... Let me see. No, now we got a level 8 spell book for 3. What's the third one down? Okay.
Diviner.
Okay. Divineer. All right, sure. Let's do it. What do they got going on?
Locate creature, banishment, and summon shadow spawn.
Sure, all good things that are banishment's OP. Like this is one of the ones where it's like, do we even allow the character to have banishment? To be honest, right?
Is it that good?
Yeah, because the problem is because you take out creatures from the battlefield, so that's their action economy, right, out of the battlefield. And if it's something big enough, then you can get like the big bad because they fail their save, right? Then you can pretty much take them out of combat, set up the perfect ambush, drop the banishment spell, he comes back, and then you just ambush him and crowd him and kill him all in one go, right? You one round him with surprise. Or there's other things that you can do with it. And the problem is, once you start using banishment in games, it means that the DM can start using banishment too. And the problem with that is, if you have a player who doesn't want to sit out for a minute, right? Because the whole game will go on and you've been banished, and they'll get around to, it's my turn in the initiative, so I will continue to be banished. Yeah, no fun. Anyway,
yeah, how about we just don't give them back?
Let me have a look. We have a level 5, all right? A level 5. And we have 6, level 5, 6.
The main things are locate creature, summon shadow, spawn, and see invisible.
What do you got there? What's that one?
Locate creature.
On what school of magic for?
Level 8.
Okay,
9.
we've moved on. Okay, all right. Okay, we're on the next one. Level 5 spells. All right. For the 6th school.
Illusioners.
All right, very good, very good. Now, what are they doing? They got anything special?
Steed.
Huh?
Phantom Steed.
Oh yeah, everybody wants that. Who doesn't want that? That's a great one to put in.
Mirror image.
Yeah, sure, great spells. Very good spells.
Oh yeah, and invisibility.
Sure, yeah, but most people take that anyway as they're leveling up, you know what I mean? Like, most mages are going to have that anyway. They might not have Phantom Steed in their book, but they'd have whatever. All right, Colin, next one, what do we got? We'll roll again. How many doing? 6 of these spell books. Some of them have been a little bit better than others. All right, what do we got? 12, and so level 12, 2, the second one down.
Conjurer.
12 Conjurer.
There's draw mages, instant summons.
Instant summons good.
And summon fiend.
Alright, yeah, some of that's alright.
And
sure.
Avard's black tentacles.
Sure.
And summon construct.
Some of those they might not have. Yeah, sure, a lot of those are quite particular. Sure, if someone's a wizard, then this is great for them. They're gonna like add so many great spells to their books, right? A lot of them they probably will already have, but anyway, let's go on. I can't believe I rolled a 6 on a d6. Oh, that's me. All right. 0 and 4. So level 4. Not very big. Let's put this over here. All right. What are we looking at?
What's the...
Oh, my bad. What's the school? 8. Last one.
Transmuter.
Transmutation.
Dragon's Breath.
Okay, yeah.
Maximilian's Earthen Grasp.
Sure.
And let me see. Tasha's Caustic Brew.
Some of those are alright. That's what I mean. Some of this stuff they probably be like, oh yeah, that's not even worth copying into my book. Depending on on flavor, because you got to consider that people sort of set up combos of what they want to use and stuff, and until they pick up a spell that they really want to spend the gold on, because it costs some gold to copy and the time, which is who really cares about that. But yeah, they might not want to copy every spell. What do we got? One last one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let me see. So level 7, the 4th one. Have we done a 4th one?
Yeah.
Okay. We done a 3rd one?
Yeah.
Oh. We done a 5th one?
Yeah.
We done a 2nd one?
2nd one?
Yeah, I think we did.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever. A 1st one? Necromancy.
No, Abjurer.
Oh, Abjuration. Alright. So what level was that I say? Level 7. Alright. 7 Abjuration. What can I do?
Magic Circle.
Oh yeah, good. Very good.
Glyph of Warding.
Very good.
And Stone Skin.
Yeah, can be good. Sure. I'd want those. Alright, so the wizard gets big upgrades here, because I feel like we haven't done anything for wizards forever. And you can't just only ever hand them items. It's not good enough. Alright, let's see. So
go back.
Yeah, sure, now you can come back. Let's move on. Okay, can close up this book, make some room for myself. Watch out for our map. Where's our map telling us to go next? Oh, the tadpole room. This is what the schoolhouse was. So, on our map, you remember there was a big sort of rectangular place, and we're either going to put the schoolhouse long ways next to the Abbey, all right, or we're going to put it as a rectangular building and then have like the different quarters over here.
Long ways.
Long and whatever, and then have the quarters at the back behind the schoolhouse. All right, okay, sure. So where's my eraser? Okay, very good, very good.
Like the long ways.
Okay. So we'll have a long one where it's just like 2 classrooms back to back with a hallway, you know, so you've got like the hallway there, and you've got the 2 classrooms that sit like that, and you've got like a veranda, and you've got a door on either side. Okay, so one of these that was a classroom is turned into a tadpole vat, right? Tadpole baby swimming place, right? This is where the tadpoles get dropped off. This is tadpole daycare. These are the baby ones, right? We'll put babies on one side, and then the bigger ones when they're ready to go. These ones are ready to go off to uni and become real illithids, right? A human devouring illithid, yeah, sure. So these ones are the biggies. All right, so we got the babies and the biggies.
A humanoid thing.
Right, depends. I wonder, I mean, whether it's a choice. Most things are generally humanoid because that's how we think about it when we design this stuff for reference, so that they're similar. But it is interesting to think that why couldn't a illithid take over an intelligible other species? I'm sure it could be done.
Like a tabaxi.
Well, yeah, but they still humanoid. They still got 2 arm, 2 leg, and a tail, whatever is what a here or there. But I mean like a cow that's a super sentient cow, and you put an illithid on top of it.
What if you put an illithid in one of the cranium rats?
That's what I mean. They would have a choice. I mean, that's right. They would usually look for things that. The idea is, why would you choose bipedal humanoids? Is because they can be bipedal. They can walk. They got opposable thumbs, so they can work with things, right? Like.
So all the animals watching this video, imagine not having opposable thumbs.
Sure. You're going to trigger some animals out there. All right. Okay. So we've got the babies and biggies. This is tadpole daycare. And this is them getting ready for uni. All right. So this is high school. Okay. Sure. They're the bigger fit ones swimming around. Okay. Now, these will always have the carers. But their carers sleep over in the rooms. Like we have the storerooms over the other side. This is theirs, okay? So their carers are going to be one of these, the Illithids, right?
Illithid.
Yes, you can say it how you want to say it, and I'll say it how I want to say it. You want to say scones? Oh, I'll say scones, you can say scones.
It's scones.
No, but that's scones, boy. They're scones.
It's scones.
No, do you know what it is?
Aren't those like the little cake things?
They're bread sort of things. Yeah, okay, right, yes. You call them scones or scones?
Scones.
Well, you would say scones, but I say scones.
They're scones.
They can be scones. I would say scones. Anyway, we're going to get links just on that. Scones. Yeah, I don't feel right saying a scone. I don't even know what a scone is. All right, anyway. So they have their thing. That's right, we got distracted. Where's our front page? I probably should take this out, flipping backwards and forwards.
Illithids.
Put it over here. Yeah, sure. At the front page. All right. So this is where we're going to have a second one, right? Because he's going to be over here as the guard. He's going to live in one of the little rooms over here. Okay, so the guard is an Illithid. All right, sure. We're going to give them one of the other regular flayers.
Sleep?
No. Well, I don't think so. They probably take turns or whatever. I'm not sure how they work. I haven't asked one, to be honest. All right.
Mr.
Mind Flayer, do you have a downtime for a couple of hours that we can stab you while you're all sleeping together at the same time, coincidentally?
Does the Elder Brain ever sleep?
No. The Elder Brain can never sleep. The Elder Brain is always watching.
What if you use the knockout spell on the Elder Brain?
Give it a shot. Give it a shot.
What if you just use banishment?
Use some drugs on it. No, I think it says within a certain size, and you have to use it on a humanoid. And I think elder brains are no longer humanoids or sizes.
And a neck and a body.
I don't know. Anyway, that's all player character problems. How to get rid of it? We're just placing it there and giving it an environment. How you get rid of it is a whole other problem. All right. Okay. So. We have to give them a friend. So we've got the Illithids, and we know they can go with one of the mind flayers. Is this where you want more cranium rat swarms just hanging around? Just ready to pounce on people if they get in the thing. Well, if you want to put it into the calculator, you can work it out.
Calculate it.
Do you want just the Illithids and a whole heap of swarms? Because you could probably do it like that. We have just the one of those, and then see how many swarms we can get in with the guys before it gets too unwieldy and unmanageable. Okay, yeah, you're on screen there. Very good. Okay. Yeah, they're 14, right? Yep. The cranium rat swarms are CR5. Yeah.
You can put 3 in there.
3. Okay, 1 Illithid and cranium rats by 3 swarms. All right, sure. So maybe he's sitting there tending. Maybe he's got like a big room. They've knocked down the wall here in between the 2 rooms. What was the teaching rooms have been knocked down, so you can get between either side. Maybe there's some kind of like what am I talking about here? Like a little thing that you can walk out over, like a little gantry. That's what I'm thinking, right? In between the 2 pools. Okay, sure. Now, what's going on? 3 swarms.
Yes.
1 Illithid. All right, so we're going to put 1, 2, 3. We've got another 3 swarms in there. That one's a special one because it can get called on by the whistle. Okay, very good.
Whistle sound.
So, this is where...
I think we skipped a...
Oh, that's their room, the tadpole watcher's room. That's on the other side. This is the schoolhouse on here. Whatever, we've switched it around. Okay, look, 202. And we're going to call that schoolhouse. Alright. Look at this. This is on the fly. Oh my god. Totally professional. What you came for, right? Tadpole schoolhouse. Okay. Very good. This one here will be the schoolhouse watchers. Right? And this is pretty much just where their quarters are. Okay? Which they don't have to be in at the moment, but there's 3 of them. They are the opposite of wherever those 2 rooms went, wherever they went. Oh my god, I think I've missed them here. These rooms, right? They're the opposite of these rooms. They sit on the other side. They are part of the Abbey proper for the structure, but they've got a hallway that runs up behind them, right? And they just sit into the building. It'll make more sense when they get put in there. But these sit on the other side and essentially do exactly the same thing. Okay, so there's 3 rooms. These ones have been turned into the tadpole watchers rooms, and he probably has like a sleeping, what would have been a sleeping quarters there. Oh, I can't believe, look at this, I'm drawing in the wrong section. Don't at me about it, alright? Isn't that what the kids say? Don't at me. Alright, so he's got a sleeping area in here, and there we go. Totally neat.
Neat.
Yeah.
N-E-E-T.
Alright, sure. We'll fix that up later. Okay. So we probably got 1 room here that is a sleeping quarters. We probably have another room here for like a lab or some sort of personal experiments, right? Because they all do stuff like that. They all do their freaky things. Experiments. And up here is the storage room for equipment to look after the tadpoles. Storage, equipment, tadpoles. All right, I'm gonna have to remember that later. Okay. And this is going to be the watcher's personal room, like where he sleeps and stuff. Watcher's lair, we'll call it.
Lair.
Sure.
If you fight him in there, does he get lair actions?
No. I need just a bit of a chai latte here. All right.
Oh, why can't we give it lair actions?
The room's going to be about 10 by 15 feet or something like that. It's going to be too small to be considered a lair. Doesn't even get the IR on the end. It's just going to be a la. You want them to fight in the la? All right, sure. Okay, let's keep moving on because we've still got a couple of rooms to go here. Okay.
3.
Now, at the end of this thing here, right? So we've included the schoolhouse, right? And you can see over here, this is where their stores are, and that's where the tadpole watchers room's going to be. You can see those rooms over there. Okay, this is where the well is going to sit on top. The well is going to be over here and in relation, pretty much. At the front, they're going to have a little bit of a garden area. Okay, so we have to do the upper dorms and the lower dorms, and then we have finished everything that is external, right? Everything that's external will be done. Let's do that now. Upper quarters. They're going to look very similar to the guest houses. They will be slightly bigger rooms, right? So there'll be probably 3 or 4 of these rooms though together. This is where, you know, the head of the the head of the administration would have stayed. The head Abbey guy, right? So whether it was the
head honcho.
Yeah, but whether it was a bishop or a priest or whatever you want to call them, right? Of the clergy, they all have different names. Probably not the Pope. Pope wouldn't stay here. All right. But anyway, whichever their religious faith was, we're not getting into. It doesn't matter. Religious place, once upon a time. So this is where the head guys would have been, right? And probably the doctor. The doctor would have had a sleeping quarters in here, all right? So this is where the doctor would have had a room as well. Okay, so this is what we're going to do in here. They would have looked a lot like the other ones. Where's these other ones? Pretty early on. They'll have a bed. They'll have a little room where they would have like a little table, somewhere to sit and eat their meals and stuff like that. So if they wanted to have like a breakfast or a light lunch or snacks or something, or they missed a meal, this is where it'd be brought. So yeah, so they have a little room with a bed and dresser and probably stuff. But it would be turned into something very similar. Eventually it'd have like test tubes in it, or it's gonna have cages for creatures, or experiment chairs for unlucky people. Okay, so that's what's going to be the upper quarters.
The unlucky ones.
The lower quarters are going to be where you would have been your regular monks, regular clergy folk. They would have had their room, and they would have been very similar to actually what the work quarters would have been. Not even like the lower quarters and having a room to themselves. These would probably be, like, to be honest, they'd probably be, instead of 10 by 15, they're probably 15 by 15 square cells that would have a bed. They'd have a table on one side, and they'd have enough room for a dresser and somewhere to store their clothes. Like, that's very, very much as simple as what it would be. And you'd have probably 8 of these stretching on next to each other, right? Okay, so that's very simple.
30 multiplied by 4, that's 120 feet.
Well, it depends. We've got to fit into that other space. So maybe they sit, so you have 2 or 3 sitting one way, and then you have another set sitting the other way. You might even have like a little compound where they sit in a little triangular space to each other, and the well itself comes up in between the triangular space. That way, even though the well is an option to come and go, you can intrude from it or you can escape via it. But if you do, you are sitting dead center in the middle of the dormitories of what would have been the quarters for the majority of the Illithid host is now in these quarters. All right?
It's not very nice.
Well, sure, but it's an option, okay?
It is
an option. All right, so that's the upper and lower quarters. Very simple. They're going to look like what we've already done. We'll work out the format on the bigger map, right, where we've done the blueprint. What we need to do now, today, is we're at today's one. All right, room 205 of the day 205. Okay, so we've all caught up for it. Come for, right?
That's like almost a third.
Oh, actually, I need this. Over. Maybe, or maybe not. Maybe you're right. Maybe it's almost a third. So this is where the center room, okay? So we've got the stores and that, and we've got a corridor. We're going to fill up some rooms on the front and the back. But this is where all the pews would have been. This is where the confessional would have been if it was a Catholic church. This is where the altars are. Some have altars at the front and the back, which is what we would probably do. But these altars have all been broken and destroyed, right? So you'd have maybe an angel's altar at one end, and you'd have the actual, you know, whether it's God, or if it was Christian, it'd be Jesus or Mary, or one of the archangels or something like that would probably be at the top altar. And then behind them, yeah, you'd have like stained glass all along the things, or possibly, if it's closed encounter, you'd have murals and stuff, like the Sistine Chapel, right? You'd have the murals and stuff on the top of the walls and the roof. Okay, so and you'd probably have murals on the floor, would have been all tiled. Everything would have looked all very beautiful and religious and respectful. And now it's all been dug out to a big pit, and
Cool.
filled with some fluid, possibly water and extra stuff. And this is where the Illithids hang out and have their baths and pass their brains around and
And
their
it seems
victims in
tasty.
and stuff. And what?
Seems tasty.
I'm not eating brains. No, oh, well, actually, I have eaten sheep brain before. That's not too bad, right? If you cook it the right way, brains. You know, you eat a brain. How do you eat a brain?
Give me your bread.
No. Cook it in good old lard and crumb it. Right, real fatty. It's one of the most fattiest cholesterol laden things you can do. Right, crumb a brain and lard it up and fry it up and cook it for goodness. Right, put some cheese on the top. There you go. That just made it fancy. Okay. All right. Anyway, so we're not eating brains, but they do in the pool that they dug out in the middle of this church. So pretty much, we're gonna have a big central space, right? And it's gonna be a dugout with fluid, and we're going to have Illithids swimming inside. This is the Illithid swimming pool. Sure. Can write all of those words. I don't have dyslexia, I promise. Illithid swimming pool over here, right in the dugout, which would have had pews and stuff. There's busted idol over one end and broken statuettes at the other. Right, they have little places where they have stairs to get down, right? So they'll have little areas that they can climb down to get into the pool on either side, all right? And they have like floating brains and Illithids, all right? That's the theme. There you go, floating brains.
And then there's one end with the deep end where they
And
make
Illithids.
where they make the brains more dense.
What?
So they have to work.
No. This isn't a ball pit exercise where they're literally swimming through brains. It's not quite that comical. All right. You just want a few that they're sort of passing around at any time, right? And when they're finished with it, because they're all chomped on, they get cleaned out, right? Because they don't want the leftover bits.
They just give them to the cranium rats.
Yeah, sure. Whatever's left over gets brought out to the cranium rats to chew on, right? And make them big and strong. Okay, so we've got the Illithid swimming pool. Okay, broken statues, all dug out, filled with fluid, floating brains, and Illithids. How many Illithids are we putting in there? What would be just an Illithid combat if they were to go in and fight, all right? No, you need to go over to the calculator.
How much is an Illithid?
This is just a straight fight. No special Illithids, all right? Let me see. Straight Illithids, CR, right at the front here. We go back to almost the front of this book. Straight up Illithids are CR7s. All right, how many have we got hanging out just at the minute? I would say 3, maybe 4.
3.
3's a hard. What's a 4?
Deadly.
Is it? So 3 to 4. Okay, that's a good idea. Illithids.
Depending.
Straight up.
Or if you have.
3 to 4.
Or if you have the Harangan, 3 if you don't.
Yeah, it depends how much you want to challenge them, I suppose, at that point. You know, what your action economy versus theirs is. I mean, you could decide that right at the moment. You know, they've come into the room, but they haven't taken a long rest. They've been stupid. They want to just keep pushing on just to push on anyway. Maybe only give them 3. But if they're fresh and you want to burn up their resources, give them some trouble, they got 4. And maybe an extra one walks in the door at the end. All right?
Like, what just happened here?
So again, the thing about this is no loot, right? They've just got their Illithid parts and things you can chop off them for different components. All of the loot essentially is in like the doctor's office or is going to be in that loot pile. And in the Elder Brain's place, we'll probably have a tribute pile as well, right? Like an altar where some of the best magical implements and tributes get pulled down. They usually generally don't care about stuff like that, but maybe this one has some manner of vanity and likes the idea that things are being brought, like the best pickings of its conquered enemies are brought here. All right, so we'll deal with that later. That's it. I've turned over. I've done enough. You've done enough. Everybody here who's been weird long enough, they've done enough too. All right. Okay. There's our map. Stay weird. Are you going to turn it off today?
Yeah.
Are you going to do the thing? Say the line. Where's your line?
Oh, yeah. With the comments and stuff.
Yeah, no hassles. stay weird, and we'll see you next time.
Goodbye.